Thank you for being patient and waiting, I would say first. But, I would not use
Спасибо
the
за что, что вы
microphone.
были такие терпеливые и подождали, пока мы тут все решим. Почти что все.
Yeah, I'm sorry about these technical problems, but now I'm going to start talking about me and Matthias, my colleague. He's not here at the moment, but I'm going to tell you a little bit of how we work usually in Amsterdam.
Извините, у нас были некоторые технические неполадки, но теперь я готов рассказать вам, начать лекцию и рассказать о работе своей и Матиаса. Матиас мой друг, которого сейчас нет здесь, но мы вместе работаем в Голландии.
So the lecture is based on a series of interviews with the people we collaborate with in one way or the other, and we ask them like one quite specific question each, and then that's the the structure of the lecture somehow, and then I'm going to talk a bit of like our history and a bit more stuff. And oh yeah, sorry.
И вся наша лекция основывается на около дюжины различных интервью с людьми, с которыми мы вместе работаем. Мы решили рассказать больше об этих людях, с которыми мы работаем, больше, чем о конечном результате нашей работы. И каждому из этих людей адресуется 2-3 специальных особых вопроса, на которые они отвечают.
It was a way. It was a way for us to sort of find out what we are busy with all the time and where we are at the moment a little bit. So.
Для нас это был способ выяснить для себя, чем же мы таким все это время занимались, и задать себе вопрос.
Yeah. Me and Matthias, we studied together at the Schildt Academy in Amsterdam.
Мы с Матиасом вместе учились в Академии Ритвельд в Амстердаме.
Yeah, that's where we met, and in 2004 we came there.
Так мы познакомились, мы встретились в 2004 году.
The images that I show you now, I mean, I hope you see them.
И вот эти изображения, которые мы сейчас вам показываем, и надеемся, что вы их видите.
They're taken by a photographer called Johannes Schwarz.
Они были сделаны фотографом Йоханнесом Шварцем.
And I think they're a quite nice representation of like the architecture of the building where we were studying.
И так вы можете увидеть, что это было за здание, в котором мы учились в Ритвельд Академии.
And me and Matthias, we started collaborating the first time on our graduation project.
Мы с Матиасом впервые стали работать вместе на нашем выпускном проекте.
And that project was a magazine we made together.
И этим проектом был журнал, который мы вместе выпускали. Или выпустили.
So here comes the first question. Oh no, sorry, this is now wrong. I have to first introduce the first interview.
И сейчас я хочу вам представить первого интервьюируемого.
Let's see how the sound is. I mean,
Сейчас мы посмотрим, что у нас со звуком.
Okay.
Well, I'm Linda van Deusen, and we're here at the Rietveld Academy, where I teach, and I'm also head of the graphic design department. And I am a designer, a graphic designer.
У вас есть транскрипт этих интервью на бумаге. Если вы хотите, я вам буду быстро вслух читать.
And that's it, I guess.
Did you hear anything or?
Вам слышно что-нибудь? Нет? Слышно? Всех есть бумажка, всем слышно. Прекрасно.
Well, this is a bit tricky now, but this is the question we asked.
Так что вот это вот вопрос, который мы задали, нужно ли нам больше графических дизайнеров?
I guess not. I guess they would need better designers. I mean, I think we could do with less designers, but only on the condition that they're really good, I suppose. But I'm not really sure about that either, because I have to say that I can imagine there's also a lot of work done by people who are not really graphic designers, and which can be quite surprisingly nice or good. So it's a bit of a difficult question. To be honest, I have never really given it any thought, and the more I think about it, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? It's a good question. I mean, I think there's a lot of, I mean, the amount of designers is growing steadily. I've never really seen any numbers on that, but I can imagine that the world is getting a lot of more graphic designers. I don't know. I don't care. I don't really care.
But of course, it's a provocative question, and of course, we ask it to you as our old teacher and as head of a graphic design department.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of into this as a teacher as well and as a designer, because I think if you take your field kind of serious, that means that you have a couple of possibilities to work on that, or to make a difference. And you can say one is that by doing it, practicing, you kind of try to, think about graphic design and try to improve it. And the other thing is that maybe by teaching you can, there's another way of, dealing with the ideas that you have on graphic design. But I really was talking about this not so long ago with Armand, and we both kind of understood or realized that we hate the whole world of graphic design, we hate everything that surrounds it. We just like we like the work. We like to work with problems, we like to work with language, we like to work with printed matter, but the world of graphic design as it is something that we both don't really care for at all. So, in terms of graphic design as graphic design, I don't really have such a strong feeling, except that I believe in what I
do.
Следующий вопрос был, как бы вы определили сегодняшний голландский дизайн?
That's a complicated question too, because in a way you can say we're in the middle of it, which makes it kind of hard to answer. And you can also say that what was once maybe called Dutch design is maybe at this moment not exactly what it was or what it became famous for. So there's a couple of factors that are constantly being redefined or are shifting, and I have the feeling that what made graphic design in Holland quite big was that you can say it was like it's a small country, and on a really high level, graphic design sort of was integrated in our culture and society, really on all kinds of levels. And there were very strong ideas about it, like very rigid ideas, but on the other hand, that sort of like functioned within all the very formal outcomes, like the trains and the police identity, but also cities' identities, all kind of that kind of thing. And on the other hand, there was also like a very strong, some very strong individuals who were also defining from a very different background with a very personal voice and language graphic design too. And I think these two things were kind of, maybe you can say, well, that was Dutch design. On one hand, there's like, we can organize and we can structure, So that's a quality, and on the other hand, there's a very personal voice for highly individual people who are establishing very close relationships with, let's say, directors from museums of theatre makers, and who had like a really steady output of their work at the same time. And I think throughout the years, a lot of young designers always got opportunities by either governments or other established companies or institutions to start working for them, which always kept it kind of fresh. And you can say that nowadays, it's much more harder for young people when they graduate here to kind of follow that track. Not only because the world has become maybe a bit more conservative and there's a lot more, let's say, people in between maybe what you need as a designer to establish a good contact with a client. Maybe there's much more people in between who fuck that whole process up. That's difficult. And then of course, you can also say like you can't expect from students that are educated here to actually stay here. So I don't know how they will. I don't know what effect that will have on Dutch design, how they operate here, how they find their place, if they want to stay to begin with, or if they don't want to stay, how what they learned here transfers back to where they are going with their work or with their whole, with their whole career. So I don't know. I don't know. I think the term Dutch design is a bit. It's getting a bit worn out, so in that sense, I don't find very much value there.
Okay. After we studied at the Rietveld Academy, Matthias, which is maybe right to the left there, that's my colleague.
После того, как мы начали совместную работу с Матиасом, это человек слева, мой коллега.
Matthias started working with Paul and Selina that you see here as under the name of One Day Nation.
Матиас стал работать с Полом и Селиной на этой фотографии под названием проекта «Нация одного дня».
So they started doing freelance works immediately after the Rietveld.
Так что они тоже начали работать фрилансерами сразу после окончания академии.
I continued studying at the Jan van Eyck Academy in Maastricht for 2 more years.
А я продолжала еще 2 года учиться в Академии Ян ван Эйка в Маастрихте.
But me and Matthias, we sort of collaborated on small projects on and off during this whole time, and
Но они с Матиасом все равно продолжали работать на протяжении этого времени на разных проектах, маленьких и еще меньше.
And then at a certain point we had a talk and we decided to really work on a daily basis together.
И в какой-то момент мы обсудили этот вопрос и решили, что нам следует работать вместе постоянно.
So to celebrate that, we went to New York together for a
Чтобы
month,
отметить это прекрасное решение, мы отправились в Нью-Йорк на месяц,
where we had a good time. We made our website and printed the poster, for example, and planned a little bit what we wanted to do.
и мы там прекрасно провели время и какие-то вещи обдумывали и делали, например, печатали постеры и планировали свою дальнейшую работу.
We met this guy who has a book printing workshop in Brooklyn, so we could print this poster, as you see. Not really, but...
И мы познакомились с человеком, у которого было небольшое издательство в Бруклине, поэтому мы могли у него печатать свои постеры.
And our friend Alex at the Rietveld Academy helped us with printing business cards for us, so that we could start our business.
И наш друг Алек в Академии Ритвельд помог нам напечатать свои визитные карточки, так что мы сразу же могли начать свой бизнес, свое дело.
And now this is our studio where we work now in Amsterdam.
И вот так выглядит наша студия, в которой мы сейчас работаем в Амстердаме.
And we share that with 5 other people. It's a really international group of people, like from Holland, France, and South Korea, and Denmark, and Sweden. in Germany.
Эту студию мы делим с 5 другими людьми, и которые все приехали из разных стран. Это на самом деле очень интернациональная компания, в которой есть голландцы, французы, корейцы, датчане.
And we're all working as freelance graphic designers in the studio and either studied at the Untitled Academy or the Werkplatztypografie.
Ну и все мы там работаем на основе фриланса, графическими дизайнерами, и каждый из нас продолжает учиться либо в Италде, либо работает в типографии Werkplatz.
Это Werkplatz такой.
Это тоже
Werkplatz такой школа.
это тоже школа печати. Вот так.
And here is the group.
Вот это группа людей, которые работают в этой студии.
So now we have another video.
Сейчас у нас будет следующее видео.
I come to Netherlands 2 years ago. I'm here. And I come to Netherlands 3 years ago. And I graduated photography last year. So I spent 2 years in Arnhem. Now I lived in Amsterdam and working together with 6 friends in Jaipur Park. Yeah.
Ну, вопрос, считаете ли вы себя голландским дизайнером?
That's a very interesting question because we talked about this in Werkplatz also. Because the major population is from another country, so there's only 1 or 2 Dutch students. And mostly Werkplatz is kind of one good example of Dutch design, so mostly they admitted as a Dutch graphic designer at the school. But hard to say that if we think that Dutch design is only just territorial idea, because now the Dutch design says something more than that. It's more like a way of thinking, or so yeah, I mean, in normal case I will never say, yeah, I'm Dutch graphic designer, but in some kind of categorized, maybe it can be involved even I'm Korean. Yeah. But for me, the way of thinking is also like one is that it's really connected with conceptual in a way, because when designing something, it's not only concentrated on the thinking at the same time, not making something beautiful, but more also like thinking to connect the form with a concept and idea. That is one part, I think, and the other thing is that it's very come from Dutch classical way that is very try to do something in a practical line. And the most impressive thing is more like they're really aware about how to print. It's not making something in design. And then that's why they play with overprint or material or special binding or whatever. But then people from outside, I think that's accepted as a fashionable or trend, but it's not original idea. They do that because they have to do that, or with the budget wise, or it's connected with the idea. So I think that is very impressive way. Wow, maybe this is really like nice way of thinking about this.
Okay. Now Natalia is going to read in Russian quote here.
А сейчас Наталья зачитает вам некую цитату. которая является манифестом группы The Session, сессия. Группа The Session выпускает тематические журналы совершенно в самоиздатовском духе, адресуясь к серьезным читателям через сеть дилеров. Сессия облюбовывает тему, фокусируется на ней и осуществляет проект. Сессия собирается дальше придерживаться и сохранять строгое равновесие между анархическим и индивидуалистическим подходом. That's it. Все. This one?
Did you translate that?
No?
No.
Why?
Uh,
I can do this.
yeah.
Do you
Sure.
need the instruction?
Mm,
No?
Oh, it's fine. I can explain it. So we're a group of friends, like 8 people. We do a magazine together.
И вот мы работаем группой друзей 8 человек и выпускаем вместе журнал.
It started 3 years ago, and now we made 9 issues of the magazine.
Все началось 3 года назад, и теперь мы уже выпустили 9 выпусков.
And yeah, it's like the setup is always like one of the persons in the group is always in charge of the theme, the production and design and editing of the magazine.
Устроено все таким образом, что для каждого номера один из нашей группы является главным по выбору темы, общему виду выходящего журнала, решений по его дизайну, содержанию публикаций и всему остальному.
And yeah, I mean, it started like we were always like out drinking beers together, and then we figured like we could do something else than only drink beer. So that's why we decided to do this magazine.
Мы регулярно пили вместе пиво и решили, что можем сделать что-нибудь более продуктивное, чем просто пить пиво, и решили выпускать вместе такой журнал.
And yeah, we usually have when the new issue is out, we usually have a release party at the location in Amsterdam, or depending on where we are.
И когда у нас выходит новый номер, у нас все время по этому поводу проходит вечеринка.
And the last issue we made was we were for 10 days in Malmö in Sweden and made one issue there together with local artists.
И последний выпуск, который мы сделали, он был сделан за 10 дней, проведенных нами в Мальме, в Швеции, где мы работали вместе с местными художниками.
No, I just do a move, you know.
Okay, my name is Margaret Rommel, and I work as an artist, and I also work together with these two guys. And we are now sitting in Plum Bay, and this is the multiple shop of Plum Bay. And Plum Bay is, you could say, a project space for artists that our friend Taya started, was it 3 years ago?
Yeah,
something like that. She has an idea with the house owner that she can have the house until he sells it. So it's a whole house. It's like four floors, and this is the ground floor. So now I'm talking into the camera all the time, but I should talk to you. So the ground floor is used as an exhibition space, and this little room here is the publication or the multiple store that mostly Thomas is responsible for. So it's a lot of different little multiples and publications and records and different things that are being sold here.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna do the questions first.
Какую роль играет сотрудничество в вашей работе?
I think it's very different for different circumstances. Since I'm usually, as an artist, you work quite a lot on your own with your own projects and everything. And then, of course, for me, it is always depending on different projects. And we have, for example, the session that we make together. Then it is, of course, a collaboration with 8 other people, and then that's kind of the whole point. So then it has a very
But maybe then, what role
Yeah.
does the session play for you? I mean, then in that.
I think, with the session, it is nice to collaborate with, or it's just nice as a starting point to just do something together with your friends, because that is also how it started in a way with the session. It's not based on making money or making something work or go around somehow, because that's all gone anyways. But it is more like just a nice experiment to work together also with so many people, and so many people that are doing completely different things. And yeah, I mean it is it's a nice experiment, you could say. So when I made this 7-inch record, the collaboration was in a very different way, because then you are also forced to collaborate because you need something from other people. I cannot play all these drums myself, and I don't have these drums myself. So then it is also, of course, very different when you are depending on other people, because you have that limit. But of course that is also nice in the sense that you think that you, or at least for me it is that way, that I think that I know what I want from these people. But when they start playing the drums, they play something super cool, and then I'm like, wow, that's so good. And then it's you just get this really good influence, of course, from collaborations.
А какую роль в вашей работе играет дизайн?
Oh God, that's a difficult question. I start smiling now a bit, because I realized myself that I really don't like design. Like, I don't want to have, or I like design, but I don't want to have anything to do with it myself. That I think was that is also the awareness that raises when you are so involved with other designers, and you hear, like, of course you learn from people all the time also, and the conversations that designers have in between themselves, and then I'm like, oh God, it's so complicated. I think it's difficult now even to, like, I'm gonna print out my CV or something. Even that I think is like, fucking typefaces. I don't wanna. I'm really I don't want to have anything to do with it. I of course I enjoy looking at nice things, and it's important in that sense. But I don't want to be involved in it myself, you could say. But that's also designing record sleeves. This is a very clear example, I would say. I am not, I'm an artist, so I know how to work with visual things, but that's not the same as working with typefaces or how to make a catalog. I mean, there are things that you need to learn about that also, I think. And this is my design. And it's, that's just an image, and that kind of proves that I want to stay away from it also.
Maybe now you can read
Да, теперь продолжение манифеста группы «Сессия», что группа заседает каждый 1 раз в 2 месяца, и на этом заседании они проводят своеобразные мастерские, где концентрируются на какой-нибудь одной теме. И группа использует различные техники и технологии от рисунка к исследованию и даже к написанию песен. Есть в группе так мало правил, как только возможно. То есть, потому что основная задача – это оставить всю работу максимально открытой и неусложненной. Так что сессия решила не устанавливать никаких границ и остаться вне рамок, сохранить за собой разноплановость группы благодаря набору разноплановых людей. Все члены группы по очереди принимают решения о выборе темы, над которой они работают, а также каких людей они будут приглашать для работы в этом номере. Человек, который выбирает тему, также является и главным выпускающим редактором номера, он же ответственен за редактуру, дизайн, оформление и, собственно, публикацию. И это означает, что каждый новый номер совершенно отличается от предыдущего и составлен совершенно отличным от предыдущих подходом и даже напечатан иначе с использованием других технологий, которые каждый раз используются по-новому, новые форматы, новые методы. Группа «Сессия» — это гибкая ячейка для накопления любого рода содержания в доверии к спонтанной природе заседаний, своих чудесных воскресных заседаний. И работа сессии основывается на протодемократических позициях, что означает, что даже те, кто пришел поздно, всегда имеют право на чашку кофе.
Maybe after is it okay? No? It's soon done. Okay. Last year, me and Matthias, we worked on a self-initiated project together.
На протяжении последнего года мы с Матиасом работали над проектом, который мы сами для себя придумали.
And we wanted to do something. It's a place in Amsterdam called the OCCII, which is a concert venue for like alternative music.
Есть такое место в Амстердаме, которое называется смешно OCCII. И это клуб для альтернативной музыки.
Yeah, we always went there, and we thought after a while that it would be nice to do something with that place, like.
Мы частенько туда приходили и в результате решили, что было бы неплохо что-нибудь придумать в плане графического дизайна и поработать вместе с ними.
And the OCCII is squat, like it got squatted in 1984 already, and since '89 it was like a legal place, and it's a free space for.
OCCII — это действующий сквот, который был захвачен в 1984 году и принял легальный статус, то есть официальный действующий сквот в 1989.
And 1984 was quite a critical year in Amsterdam, or like in Holland. There was a lot of places being squatted, and some of them still exist, like the OCCII now for more than 25 years. And
1984 год был таким критическим моментом для движения сквоттеров, потому что они захватили довольно много мест, и некоторые из них до сих пор продолжают существовать, например, как OCCII.
And we thought that this whole history of that place was not so much like documented, or it's hard to find the documents about it, and so we figured we could record 1 year of that place, like.
И мы подумали о том, что история этого места или таких мест не очень-то хорошо задокументирована, и поэтому решили сделать такой проект, который бы отражал историю этого место в течение 1 года.
Yeah, so what we did was like doing the monthly newsletter for a whole year. Like the newsletter is, it was first like distributed as a poster and a newsletter in town. We printed every month 1,000 copies.
И в результате мы решили, что стоит начать с ежемесячного такого бюллетеня новостей, который мы сначала печатали в виде постеров в количестве 1000 экземпляров.
And we saved 300 copies every month at the printers.
А также мы продаем 300 копий.
And those like 12 sections in the end formed this book in the end of the year. So we made 300 copies of this book out of that.
Each month?
No, like each month we saved the newsletter. I mean, it's a bit better.
То есть они эти бюллетени выпускают в количестве 1000 штук каждый месяц, но из них 300 сохраняют для того, чтобы в конце года выпустить такой своеобразный альманах из 12 выпусков, совмещенных вместе.
Yeah, and then the newsletters were bound together too.
И они образуют такую книжицу.
I'm Schildt. I'm working in OCCII, now OCCII, for more than 5 years now as a coordinator of the program. OCCII stands for Independent Cultural Center. In its squad in the mid-80s, and we're completely independent. We have a children program, weekly children program, and very strong live shows in the evening, like 15 shows a month. We work here in OCCII with different groups that all are volunteering with so we can maintain the building, do everything kind of by ourselves. My job is to kind of get everything together.
Вопрос. Нужно ли такому месту, как ОКИ, графические дизайнеры? Нужны ли они?
I think for every institute or even Scotland, they have a sign. A single circle with so I think it's just one in one. Yeah, for instance, what Gramschap also said is that politics, culture, it's all the same, or it has to be together. You make something and it has to be political, it has to be... So, you see, in these 25 years, you see lots of things changing, also the buildings, the way it looks, but there's always design in it.
When we asked Schildt, like the guy at OCCII, if a place like that need graphic designers, we sort of expected a different answer. But
когда мы спросили у Шорда о том, нужны ли такому месту графические дизайнеры, мы ожидали самых разнообразных ответов.
Because we were all the time like doubting why we would make sort of design for such a place which has already a design, you could say, like we were thinking about that a lot while doing it.
Потому что мы все-таки сомневались, зачем нужны такому месту какие-то еще внешние дизайнеры, когда у него уже есть свое лицо, уже свой автономный дизайн.
And we were trying to avoid a sort of corporate design on the thing, or yeah, like trying to make the whole, to try to show the diversity of the place in the design.
И мы старались избегать того, чтобы случайно выработать какой-то стиль этому месту, и старались сохранить такую разноплановость, его разноплановость.
Yeah, and that's why we choose to make the book or the newsletters, like choosing different typeface and different color and paper all the time.
Вот почему мы решили выпускать такие бюллетени новостей каждый раз в новом шрифте, в новом цвете, на новой бумаге.
But it becomes pretty sort of almost over-designed and really corporate anyway, so we work with...
Но в результате все это получилось даже слишком задизайнировано, в некотором смысле обрело какой-то очень жесткий стиль.
Now there is...
We are at the print shop in Rotterdam, and I was a printer for 25 years ago. I started in the punk movement, and started as a printer, and via different print shops I ended up in the Rotterdam, which is a print shop that's from the 80s, and it was started by squatters, and on a certain moment they had to make a decision if they wanted to stay alive and make some money then make different kinds of stuff. Some you make money with, some you don't make money with, but for the good causes, things we stand for, things we want to support, we try to print for, and that's why I ended up here and debated it. But now I'm not longer a printer anymore for a long time, but now I'm in the office and make calculations and so on.
So that's Remco, our collaborator at the print shop we work with a lot for projects.
Это наш сотрудник Ремко, и мы с ним очень много работаем вместе.
And we also asked him questions.
И мы ему тоже задали вопросы. Например, как бы вы описали взаимодействие между дизайном и конечной продукцией?
I think it's very important to have good relationship between design and print shop and us. I think to create the product and see what you can do with the limitations of the process and what people want, of course, and the better we can get along together as a nice product to make. So the relationship is very important. And not everybody, not every designer has the same relationship, of course, and all our designers who don't have a good relationship to get print for, but the better relation to have.
Как сам процесс производства влияет на дизайн?
The production sometimes influences design and its limitations in some things which are possible and which are not. Then the design is influenced, of course, and sometimes you start producing even if you don't know what the result will be. If you're not sure what the result will be, but you take a chance, and sometimes the printing influence the design because it's not what everybody thought it should be. And that's possibly in every part of the graphic range that we use, not only of course the offset, but all the techniques, after press techniques have their limitations, but sometimes you don't know. Like the book we printed for you with lamination on a special paper, which the laminator tells you don't do it, it's bad paper, but you still try it and it works out fine. But there's always a possibility that it doesn't work out fine, that you're not really satisfied with it, but you already knew. But some designers don't know, and sometimes the result is different, not necessarily worse, but different from what people expect. And that's also in the printing process. Sometimes you have a special ink with a special paper, and you're not sure what it will do, like colored paper. You print, for instance, we printed white on colored paper, and it was perfect. Until the next morning, the white ink was gone. It disappeared into the paper. Well, those are things you can't predict. You don't know. And now we know for the next time, but sometimes you have, sometimes it happens. But the other way around, it also happens, of course. Because you're talking it through what you want to do, and sometimes you decide to change the way to produce it, or to change the design to make things possible or easier. Sometimes it's the money that changes the design.
Okay, I want to end with a quote by Paul Schildt from a book called What is a Designer, written by Norman Potter.
И хочу завершить свою лекцию цитатой из Пола Скайтема, который я встретил в книге Норман Поттер «Что такое дизайнер?».
It goes like this. We don't see our work as art, we don't see our work as making beautiful things.
Мы не считаем нашу работу искусством и не считаем, что наше занятие делать красивые вещицы.
It is the result of social movement.
Наша работа – результат общественного движения и развития.
It is not fashion or a special view of art.
Это не мода и не особый взгляд на искусство.
We try to establish our connection with the social situation in our work.
Нашей работой мы стараемся установить связь с ситуацией в обществе.
The answers to our problems must be the questions.
И ответами на все встречающиеся проблемы должны стать следующие вопросы.
Why, how, when, where, what.
Почему, как, когда, где и что.
Thank you.
Спасибо.
Yeah, if you
Now it's
have,
time for questions. То есть вопросы можно задавать. Если есть какие-то вопросы, то сейчас самое время их задать.
А можно рассказать, какие темы вот у журналов этой сессии?
Can you talk a little bit about the themes of the session issues?
oh, the themes.
Yeah, the themes.
Yeah, like the first theme was the banana session.
Например, первой нашей темой стала банановая сессия.
So then we did research about bananas and
Мы даже провели большое исследование о бананах.
and the next one was called the color session.
Следующая
Color. Yeah.
Следующая была сессия о воротничках.
Нет,
Цвет. Color.
Color.
Like. Воротничка. Цвет. Цвет like.
Yeah, it's written there.
Окей, то есть про цвет. Извините. Это было очень смешно. Человек с воротничком.
The one after that was called the weapons and armor session.
Тема следующей сессии были оружие и боеприпасы.
Yeah, it's all different, like
Они абсолютно различные.
the secret session.
Например, у нас была такая сессия о тайнах,
And then we took holidays, so we made a holiday session.
и потом все уехали в отпуск. Следующим выпуском стала тема следующего выпуска стали каникулы.
And we did the psychedelic session.
Был также номер, посвященный всему психоделическому.
The OP session.
И номер о наваждениях.
And I made the Amsterdam session.
И отдельно была сессия номер об Амстердаме.
And then we made like, there was this one is quite special because it's more of like a big exhibition.
Вот это довольно специальный выпуск, потому что это, собственно, был большой выпуск.
So we collaborated with this one, we collaborated with a curator from Belgium named Jan van Woensel.
И для нее мы сотрудничали с куратором из Бельгии по имени Ян фон Вулфсен.
Yeah. And it sort of became an exhibition with we invited 20 artists from all over the world.
И это стало большой выставкой, на которой мы пригласили к участию 20 художников со всего мира.
And Jan van Woensel, the curator, he came up with the theme this time, and the theme was last, so this was called the last session.
И этот наш куратор из Бельгии был ответственен за выбор новой темы, и его темой стала последней, поэтому и называется это последняя сессия.
But of course that was just a theme, so now after this one we made a new issue.
Но это была просто тема выпуска, поэтому следующий выпуск мы все равно делаем.
And that's the one we did in Malmö called the Sweden session.
The new one?
Sweden.
И новый номер это как раз тот, который мы делали в Швеции, в Мальме, вместе со шведскими художниками. Он называется Sweden. Сессия Sweden.
So it's, yeah, it can be any theme.
Тема выбирается совершенно произвольно.
Спасибо.
More questions?
Еще вопросы?
I have a question. I was kind of interested in what you said about the OCCII publication. That like you tried to capture this like spirit of the kind of anarchist squat situation, but it still ended up feeling like corporate graphic design or something. Do you think it's possible, like as a graphic designer who's kind of trained and knowledgeable about the history of graphic design and the implications of like typefaces and everything, do you think it's possible to ever kind of like make kind of authentic work in that sense? Because you know, you look at the kind of anarchist or squat publications or posters, which you know defy any kind of rule, anything you learn about graphic design, but have a spirit which is somehow great. I wonder if you think you can ever kind of capture that as a graphic designer who is knowledgeable.
В общем, длинный вопрос, который состоял в том, что вот выпускается такой бюллетень, у которого изначально была мысль сохранить его таким очень анархистским, все время разным, но в результате, как сам Йен сказал, выработался некий довольно строгий стиль, который соответствует там стандартам уже и традициям производства. Можно ли вообще в работе избежать этого, и либо это для профессионального дизайнера невозможно, потому что у него всегда остаются все навыки и техники, и выполнения, и можно ли сохранить такой анархический дух, сознательно отказаться от строгого стиля, да.
Well, I think that's the work of the amateur, let's say, like, and I don't know how when we start doing it, it becomes something else. I think, like, I don't know. I mean, content-wise, maybe it's not so different actually, but you know, like really how it looks and all, it's so sophisticated and all, like in terms of
inauthentic.
Yeah.
Well, it has to talk about your publication.
Вопрос понимания самиздатов всяких анархических, и, собственно, поэтому Ян отвечает, что это работа любителей, и когда такую же работу делают профессионалы, они не могут избежать некоторых подходов.
Yeah, I think it has its own authenticity, but the things that they are doing for themselves all the time, like they are also printing mimeograph things, silk screen, and I think that's just how it should be in such a place.
И в обоих случаях стараются придерживаться довольно простых подходов, как и должно быть, наверное, там, где выпуски посвящены такому специальному месту какому-то.
У меня вопрос по спорту. Это была инициатива их делать бюллетень, или это была военная
Yeah, it was our initiative, and we applied for funding to be able to make this project. Yeah, yeah.
Нет, да, они сами придумали и пришли в ОКИ с такой идеей, и даже там подали заявку на грант, чтобы их выпускать.
I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, I don't know if there is an answer.
No.
I just think it's kind of interesting that, like, at least I have the feeling often that I can never really make anything that doesn't feel contrived, like something that feels really genuine, you know. And that's, I kind of talked about this a bit yesterday. Like, it's so nice to be an amateur in something and to just, like, I don't know, to never have had any training as a photographer, say, and start taking photos. You feel completely liberated. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I like the way how you told that you love literature, but you didn't want to study it because of that, almost. I mean, that's how I understood it. And then choose to study graphic design to be able to work with literature. I mean, that's really
Фил говорит, что это меньше вопрос, а больше такой повод для дискуссии обширный о том, что о любителях в любом процессе, потому что, например, сам Фил старается сохранить такую любительскую позицию, например, он очень любит литературу, но не стал ее изучать профессионально, а вместо этого подался в графические дизайнеры и теперь публикует журналы литературы, чтобы всегда было некие свежие взгляды и отрыв от схем.
I have a question. I was interested in I was curious as to your name, the name Our Polite Society, of your collaboration. I have two questions. First, maybe the one would be, does the idea, oh, actually they're linked. Does the idea of politeness also link with the idea of collaboration? Or if you ever defined, like, you spent this time in New York together, and if you ever defined, like, the name,
the definition of the name, or
yeah, and maybe I just think the word polite is a really kind of a, on one hand, you can be polite, and then, on the other hand, maybe considering some of the issues that you, or some of the beliefs that you have as a collaboration. It becomes a tension, like I think that word becomes very kind of loaded in a way. Polite.
Where did this come from?
Well, I mean, where
Sorry, yeah, polite. Do you want to know the definition of that?
No, just thinking. I just haven't understood the question.
Well, I can start just explaining where the name comes from a little bit. I mean, not. It derives from something, but it's just taken from there and not really put into a new definition really. But of course, the word polite is, as you say, like quite loaded and more. You're gonna translate?
Вопрос был по поводу названия, собственно, Our Polite Society. Это Йенс Шилд и Матиас Крёцер. Вместе они работают под именем Our Polite Society, что можно перевести примерно как наше вежливое общество. Вот. И, собственно, вопрос был по поводу имени и особенно слова вежливый в нем, слово polite.
Да. И Дерек говорил о том, что, наверное, это очень трудно быть вежливым, когда вы вместе сотрудничаете, потому что возникает творческое напряжение, у каждого свои идеи, и таким образом это слово становится вежливым, очень многозначным и нагруженным.
Well, the idea of putting something like "our" in front of already existing terms is a sort of way of claiming something that you're not really approving with, but trying to do something else with that term.
И также название «Наше», вежливое сообщество, и вот этим «Наше» мы хотели показать, что это может быть не совсем наше принятие вежливого общества, но мы стараемся жить с этим.
And in this case, it's inspired by a fanzine from the 60s made in Detroit called This Is Our Music.
И в данном случае даже вдохновляющей идеей послужило название одного фанатского журнала, который публиковался в Детройте и назывался «Это наша музыка».
So there was this mainstream music all the time, and they were listening to more like jazz and soul and rock music, and they wanted to bring that into a light. So that's why they called that fanzine. This is our music.
И поскольку они были окружены все время популярной музыкой, эстрадной, а сами слушали джаз, например, то им хотелось больше рассказать именно об этой музыке.
And in our case with our polite society, the term polite society has a lot of, or there's two different negative things, as I see it, at least. Like in the 1800s in England, the polite society was the rich upper class society, like an elite.
Значит, в нашем случае, когда мы говорим о вежливом сообществе, там есть пара моментов довольно негативных, как я это вижу. Например, в XIX веке в Англии таким polite society это был термин для высшего сообщества, высших классов.
And in America, polite society is the people who defends wearing arms. Like they think an armed society is a polite society.
В Америке polite society это название организации защитников права носить оружие.
So we thought we could make our own polite society, or like changing those terms into something else.
Мы решили изменить эти негативные ассоциации на что-то другое и назвали наше вежливое сообщество.
And to be honest, it really intuitive, or not, it comes from there, but it's not really meant to be a political statement or anything. But of course, we realize that these words are really loaded, and by doing this, it becomes something. But there was just a sort of, let's say, instant feeling.
И, честно говоря, это решение о таком названии пришло к нам само по себе и не являлось никогда каким-то специальным политическим заявлением, хотя, конечно, мы осознаем, что оно очень нагружено смыслами.
Yeah, and I mean,
the
word polite in that context
Поэтому в данном
can become
контексте
something else.
слово «вежливый» может значить что-то другое.
А можно еще вопрос? А вот, как я помню, вот этот журнал Sessions — это не коммерческий проект?
No.
Нет, это не коммерческий проект.
Мне просто интересно, вот какое место в работе этой группы занимает работа за деньги и вот что-то такое, как бы session для души? Много ли приходится как-то работать за деньги, чтобы там позволить себе делать
Well, what I showed today is like 3 projects that is an alternative way of working with graphic design. That's what I wanted to talk about.
То, что я вам сегодня показала, это наших 3 таких продукта, 3 разных способа альтернативных работать с графическим дизайном. Это то, что я хотела показать как лекция, как тема лекции.
And we are also busy every day with the commission-based works that we can
И,
pay
конечно,
our
мы
rent.
каждый день работаем за деньги по заказам, чтобы оплатить, например, аренду.
But I didn't talk about that today because I wanted to focus on.
Но я об этом сегодня не рассказывала, потому что у меня другие цели.
А вот любопытно, то есть они там сидят восьмером и делают коммерческие проекты независимо друг от друга, а вот The Sessions делают вместе, так что ли?
No, it's not like that.
Это немножко не так.
The session, that's basically a group of friends, like we spend time together.
Группа The Session — это просто сборище друзей, которые любят время вместе проводить.
А за деньги они сами по себе работают, не вместе?
Да, он рассказывал про студию, где они работают с другими еще 5 людьми, просто делят место реально производственное. Это другие люди.
Здорово.
друзьями.
Yeah.
Working together for money. Да, и надеемся, так и останется. Еще вопросы?
Вообще, в вашем журнале для сквотеров, да, анархисты, у вас выработалась какая-то единая система идентификации этого журнала? То есть, чтобы вот я шел, да, и узнал, вот этот журнал, да? Ну, или это там, журнал, брошюра. То есть ли единая система идентификации этого журнала? Там же знак анархии, да, вроде там, ну, не обязательно логотип, но там же много разниц.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they're here actually. I mean, they're quite typography based, design wise, and.
Это просто некий типографский дизайн.
And I mean, this you can see in the. Like the. Yeah. I think the sort of the strong the identity part of this work is like on the poster side, for example, it's just shown the numbers like this, like the numbers of the month, like that's the calendar.
Вот на развороте это такой своеобразный постер, который является календарем текущего месяца. Вот это, наверное, единственное такое определение такого бюллетеня.
And that was made with a really strict grid in 30 squares, 31 squares.
И он такой календарь, правда, делался на основе сетки из 31 квадратика.
So like each time there was an event on one day, we put the information here in that square, and when nothing happened, there was just the number shown on the poster.
И в каждом случае, когда что-то в этот день происходит, мы тогда туда внесем описание события, а если ничего не происходит, тогда просто дата.
So I mean, in terms of typefaces, it doesn't matter what typeface you use for this, because it's such a strong grid. Yeah, it's just a grid that is so strong, so strict, like we. So here is like the first.
OCCII, январь, такой-то год.
I mean, it doesn't matter what you.
Но как-то подписано, это можно узнать.
So it was distributed in Amsterdam with like people from the OCCII.
И эти бюллетени новостные, они выпускались в Амстердаме людьми из OCCII.
And
распространялись.
Yeah, in bookshops, in bars, in schools.
А также в школах, в книжных магазинах и в барах.
So, and we were also distributing them ourselves.
И мы сами тоже их распространяем.
How about the sessions?
Yeah, the session is.
Distribution? Вопрос, как вы распространяете журнал «Сессия»?
It's distributed by us and a distributor in Amsterdam called Atheneum.
Есть дистрибьютор в Амстердаме, который называется Atheneum, и части журналов они распространяют сами.
So every issue we send a couple of copies to different stores around.
А также из каждого выпуска по паре копий они рассылают в разные магазины поблизости.
I don't know if I answered this question.
Сколько стоит?
In retail. well, most of them are sold out already, but like we have a price around 7 to 10 euros depending.
От 7 до 10 евро, и они в основном распроданы.
All right, thanks for waiting because okay, more.
Мой маленький друг хочет спросить, кем вы хотели быть в детстве, когда подросли?
Он не собирался быть графическим дизайнером.
I thought I wanted to become a fireman because my grandfather.
Кажется, он хотел быть пожарным, потому что его дедушка был пожарным.
Thank you very much. And
Спасибо большое.